this Jurassic World VR ride blows. When the hell are we gonna get to shoot Chris Pratt or Scarlett Johansson? Jesse Shade here for Awfully Good Movies on behalf of the JoBlo YouTube network. And legendary sci-fi novelist Ray Bradbury saw many of his eerily prophetic works adapted into film or TV over the course of his lifetime, but none quite so infamously as his short story, A Sound of Thunder, about a time travel company of the future that sends its rich clients back to the Mesozoic era to hunt down a dinosaur from an established path, until they stray from the path on a hunt gone wrong and create a butterfly effect in the now dystopian future of 2055. And with veteran director Peter Hyams behind the camera alongside respected actors Edward Burns and Sir Ben Kingsley, how could you possibly go wrong? Aside from Sir Ben Kingsley's choice of hairpiece, that is. Well, how about being distributed by the same studio that gave us Battlefield Earth, just as it declared bankruptcy and forced this movie to use CGI even worse than that of Battlefield Earth, as well as a 3-year release delay that forced Peter Hyams to never direct another major studio movie ever again. Now that is what I call a butterfly effect. So let's hand things over to our horror expert Tyler Nichols and celebrate the 20th anniversary of an epic sci-fi disaster that altered our future even more than Homer Simpson killing off the dinosaurs, in this timeline-altering episode of Awfully Good Movies.
Despite being a mediocre piece of crap, Jurassic World Rebirth ended up being one of the top movies of the summer. I guess people just really love their dinosaurs and don't care about obnoxious families. God, I wish they would have died. But this had me thinking about other dinosaur films, and they're usually pretty lowbrow. I mean, just look at this one that's in theaters right now. What the fuck even is this? But what about one that was directed by Peter Hyams and stars people like Ed Burns, Ben Kingsley, and David Oyelowo? Wait, it's still bad? We just can't win with these dino movies. Fine, I heard Adam Driver is at least in one. That sucks too? Okay, fine, we're going back to the last one, because at least that had some pretty weird butterfly effect thing going on, and some of the worst special effects in a post-2000s movie. So let's take a look at how awfully good is A Sound of Thunder.
Yeah, I don't have time for stupid people.
Well, why don't you make some time?
I may be an idiot, but I'm not stupid.
You would think that this movie is a sci-fi original film, but no, this was actually distributed by Warner Brothers. And it actually started life as a Pierce Brosnan vehicle, directed by Renny Harlin of all people. But all sorts of crazy shit happened, with the producer dying, funding being cut by nearly $50 million, and Harlin and Brosnan being replaced by Peter Hyams and Ed Burns. Hyams was never a crazy prolific director, but he did give us Time Cop, End of Days, and even the massively underrated Universal Soldier Regeneration. And hell, it's even based on a short story by Ray Bradbury, who brought us plenty of great pieces of literature during his life. Maybe this one isn't so much.
I devoted my career to designing an amusement park ride for rich men to compensate for their little willies by shooting prehistoric animals. Is that what you really think?
No, what I think is...
This is gonna cost me.
The whole concept is that this company discovered time travel and is using it for rich people to go on a safari in the past. They're not allowed to leave this weird path, and the tourists are only allowed to kill dinos that are already destined for death. They don't want to screw with the timeline or anything, because that's not gonna happen. So the film opens up with one of these dinosaur safaris, and it's... yeah, just about as good as you'd expect. They've clearly killed this Allosaurus many times, and therefore know when to shoot it and all that. But that doesn't mean they can't give us some tension along the way.
Today you stood shoulder to shoulder with Columbus discovering America, Armstrong stepping on the moon.
Except they literally just went into the past and killed the dino that was already going to die. How is that even comparable? These are just rich fucks who are trying to feel special.
Keep messing with the past! One day you're gonna ruin the future!
And she has a good point. The whole reason for why these safaris are set up is because there are apparently no animals left on Earth. At least no real predators, as they've been hunted to extinction. including ones that were in zoos, and there was some mysterious virus that took out the rest. How on earth we still have an ecosystem is beyond me, but okay, we'll move past that. Just pretend that doesn't exist. If you have access to time travel, why is this a priority? But then I see stuff like rich morons going into space, and suddenly I kind of understand it. This would probably happen. This movie's far more realistic than I probably thought even a decade ago.
What's the point of being rich if you don't buy things other people can't afford?
Plus, it's got Ben Kingsley with this glorious wig. Given all the budgetary issues, I'm kind of shocked that they built such a big set for this. Maybe this is where all the money went. But then we get green screen like this and it becomes baffling all over again. These poor actors definitely thought that they would be in photorealistic environments, not whatever the hell this is. And that's not to say that it's always crazy green screen. Sometimes it's actually a set-dressed area. And I actually kind of feel bad for Sonia Rand, who's the person who came up with the time travel technology. She's not even credited for helping develop it, and is worried that they're using it for the wrong reasons. And no doy, she's spot on. Eventually, one of the safari trips does go wrong, and they accidentally alter the past. Which, no doy. Has no one ever seen like any movie that features time travel? Hell, this is pretty much just the segment from Treehouse of Horror 5, Time and Punishment, where Homer alters the past with a toaster. I'm telling you, all this could have been skipped if they just watched an episode of The Simpsons.
Close enough.
Sure, he doesn't learn any lesson, but neither do these folks. The government has to step in and shut down the program. It doesn't last long though, because there are these time warps that are altering the environment, and it results in some pretty wacky things. And these time warps come in the form of these massive waves, changing a bunch of stuff in their path. Jesus, and I thought the cityscapes in Ultraviolet were bad. Bugs become rampant, and there seems to be plants everywhere, and all sorts of other crazy shit that we'll see as they go on. First, the trip back in time goes haywire as nothing goes how it's supposed to, with the Allosaurus already being dead and the volcano erupting early. Then he goes back again, and this time he's in the Old West with Native Americans coming after him. Why on earth did he go here and not where he was supposed to? You totally wasted that trip. It turns out that all this is happening because Ben Kingsley turned off the biofilter because it costs a lot of money to run, and one of the rich dickheads stepped on a butterfly and brought it back with them. So after trying to navigate this insane future featuring rabid baboon hybrids that have a certain bloodlust and these crazy massive albino bats, we still need a super convoluted way to save the day. And for some reason the baboons sleep like bats, hanging upside down on the ceiling. Maybe just give them some different traits, or just have the bats as the ones on the ceiling? Did you guys only have the designs made for certain things? Like, what is happening here? Despite having guns, it feels like no one knows how to use them, and they're mostly for decoration. And when they finally use their weapons, it's an easy one-shot kill. These seem like some pretty easy bastards to take down, except the rest of the time they seem to just be shooting and doing nothing except when it's convenient for the plot. Like, look at how much they're missing. What is happening right now? This poor girl gets yoinked by a sea creature and no one seems to give a fuck. And when the creature comes for Ed Burns, he just gets lucky and the subway collapses right as he's about to get eaten. Ed Burns is protected by main character armor this entire movie, and it makes everyone else always feel expendable. Not to mention the fact that this constantly just feels like a bad video game. Doesn't really help that it looks like it's from the PS2 era. By the time the final time warp comes through, it warps humans into this strange fish-like creature. So, this is what Rand looks like now? Thankfully, Ed Burns is able to save the day and yells at the people in the past to turn the biofilter back on. And he saves the butterfly from being squished. It's amazing that all of that happened because of a dead butterfly. Listen, I'm not gonna act like I understand evolution 100%, but I really don't think that's how ripple effects work. But time warps! They actually released a Game Boy Advance game based on the film, and it's honestly not terrible. Remember when every action movie seemed to get a video game version? I miss those days. And even though most of them sucked, it's still a fun way to get more out of these worlds. It's amazing how much bad can come from something that started as a Ray Bradbury story, yet here we are. So I'm giving A Sound of Thunder an awfully good rating of a B-. It's crazy to see such competent actors involved in what is essentially just Sci-Fi Channel slop. At times you feel bad for the people, as they clearly think that they may be starring in the next Jurassic Park. Instead, we get Congo. It's a shoddy mess that fails to bring anything to the table outside of PS2 level special effects, and a plot that makes less and less sense the more you think about it. Have you seen A Sound of Thunder? Is it just impossible to make a decent movie about something involving the butterfly effect? Does it make things just too convoluted? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.
We promised you the experience of a lifetime, and we delivered. It's awfully good. It's awfully good.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.